My sister invited a stranger into my house despite having a boyfriend, and I'm disgusted by it. I, 30F, gave birth to my dear daughter 6 weeks ago now. Of course, with that comes family members excited to meet the newest addition. So far, my niece, 15F, has been staying with me for just over a week. She's been great, helping with everything she can without even being asked. We received word of my sister, her mother, 33F, coming down with my mother. My sister, let's call her Eve, would be staying at my house while my mother stays in a town that's about an hour drive away. Eve arrives. The first night she stays goes well. Wow. No issues at all. She's thrilled about meeting the baby for the first time and being able to see my 3 other children, 8M, 10M, and 11M. The next day rolls around and the day goes by. Eve decides that while she has the chance she'd go and visit a friend a couple of towns over. My niece decided to go with her. I was told she would return before midnight. They didn't. Also, while they were gone, my little brother, 15M, arrives to stay the night. It was around 2:30 a.m. that my daughter woke for a bottle. I checked my phone and seen that my niece had sent me a message at 1 a.m. asking if I was still awake. I replied and let her know I had just woken and asked if everything was okay. She had let me know that Eve was drunk and was threatening to leave her behind, but then Eve found a ride back to my house and mellowed out. She also mentioned Eve, who is in a relationship, had another guy with her that planned on staying even though she told Eve not to bring him since it's not her house, and she didn't even bother to ask. I agreed and made it known I didn't want this person staying. Close to 4 a.m. I hear them return. Eve is obnoxiously loud, and I hear my niece attempting to shut her up. And then I hear a male's voice. At this point I'm still in my room. My daughter very close to being asleep but stirring every time Eve gets loud, so I wake my fiancé and let him know. He's not impressed about the situation and decides to watch the security cameras to observe. I expressed my concerns and made it clear that I wanted this man out of our house in hopes that my fiancé would do something about it. But he didn't. So I tried calling my dad, but there was no answer. It took me until 4:40 a.m. to get my daughter back to sleep in her co-sleeper. At this point, Eve had stolen my son's blanket off him and dragged a mattress onto the floor in the lounge, next to where my niece was. My brother had left the room by this time and sat in the hallway due to feeling uncomfortable. My fiancé stops watching the camera. I'm visibly upset and annoyed that nothing had been done yet to get this man out, especially considering our house is literally packed with minors. A short time after, I start hearing moans. Nay. And I knew exactly what was happening. My rage, disgust, and disappointment had been brewing for some time, and as soon as I heard those noises, I flipped. I got up and said that I'd sort it out since he won't. I made sure even her boy toy were aware I was coming by expressing my anger as I was coming down the hallway, my fiancé following me at a short distance. I turned into the lounge, pointed at the dude on top of Eve and told him he needed to get the fuck out of my house. I was fuming, and Eve just thought it was a joke to be laughed at, trying to say he's a good guy. But I shot her down, making it clear to her that I don't want a stranger under my roof, especially when there's 6 minors staying. Once again, I told the guy to get out, that he had a few minutes to get his pants on and his shit together and leave, or I'd call the police. Eve is ready to leave with him, but then he starts blaming Eve for him being there, and now they are arguing. During this time, my dad is now calling me back. I answer and fill him in on the situation. He's now on his way. My dad arrives within 10 minutes, but the guy has already left. My dad and Eve are out front. All I can hear is her calling me and my niece a bunch of names, saying I'm at fault for kicking this guy out and saying she's never coming back, that she doesn't want her daughter coming back with her either. She ended up having our dad drive her back to her home 5 hours away. No apologies. After she was gone, I found out the man she invited into my home had been messaging my niece, calling her things that are completely inappropriate and sending her kiss emojis. That he made indecent comments about her breasts in front of Eve in the lounge, and to top it all off, I found out him and Eve were literally having sex in front of my niece before she decided to leave the room. My brother is mortified from hearing the noises and was in tears when I saw him. It's been over a day now since it went down. I still haven't heard from her. I thought I'd give her the benefit of the doubt that once she sobered up, she'd see how wrong her actions were, but no. I'm disgusted by it all. I can't believe she would find any of it acceptable and to throw the blame onto me without taking responsibility for her own actions. Her boyfriend doesn't even know what happened, but he will find out. This doesn't mean I will forgive her for her actions. It just would have been nice for an apology at the least before cutting contact. Some people will never change. Follow or subscribe